Wednesday morning, Monique would head to social media and express her support for the Writers and Screen Actors Guild during this current Hollywood strike. In a short video compilation, the Queen of Comedy pulled receipts from past interviews with Steve Harvey, The View, and Roland Martin, where she would speak out against the inequalities and discrimination she faced in show business, which is why she's decided to boycott in the past. Monique's Instagram caption would read, "Hey, my sweet babies. Folks keep asking me how I feel about the strike. As you can see from above, I've been verbally striking for years. But some of my brothers and sisters, as the video shows, have been striking me down for years. That's why Countess Vaughn and I filed for a lawsuit to get our money from the Parkers." Today we have our comedy hype analysts, Yamanika Saunders and Pierre, calling into the show to give their thoughts and reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
Inequality is devastating. And it's extreme. And when people said, "Monique, do you think calling a boycott was extreme?" You damn right. It got labeled as difficult because I said one word, and that was no. You called me with the morning show on the phone. I said to you, "Steve, my family is suffering behind this. And y'all know I did nothing wrong." But none of y'all in real time, was strong enough to go publicly. Not like I couldn't have been on television or couldn't have been back in the movies, but the offers just didn't make sense. We felt like if we continue to accept the offers that's coming in, what does that leave the little girl who's not here yet?
All about asses in the seats.
I totally agree with you.
You know what I mean? So
Yes.
that's not her resume. That's what she drew.
And when you look at the resume of Monique, that's asses in the seat.
Contractually,
Yes.
when you make a movie, regardless of who you sign the deal with, your job is to go and promote said movie. I could have schooled you on what was expected.
If I had done something wrong contractually, they would have sued me. The reason why no one could do anything to me contractually, because they found out I did nothing wrong contractually.
So Yamanika, I'm actually gonna come to you first. I'd love to get your reaction to Monique's clip, but also, we've had this conversation before. Again, do you think people owe Monique, an apology for the times that she has stood up for the things that she's experienced in the industry with what we're seeing with the strike? Yamanika.
You trying to get apologies from people? I mean, like, it's a waste of time. Do people, I don't know, that shouldn't be the focus of whether people are going to apologize or not, because people are consistently wrong and still won't apologize or whatever. I think what should be noted is that when some of the things she says is actually accurate, she took a stand, because not only being a Black person, they can't stand when we strike, but especially being a Black woman, she didn't do anything different than Kevin Hart. Remember, there was a big scandal, kind of not scandal, but we became aware that Kevin Hart was not promoting his movies unless he was getting a fee for it. So she wasn't asking for anything that was out of pocket. I think where we get into problems like this is when people have opinions about what people think they should be worth. And that's where the problem is. If she thinks she is worth being paid to promote, if she thinks she is worth getting certain millions of dollars for a Netflix special, and she can deliver on the business end of that, then she should be paid what she is owed.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of being paid what is owed, right now, obviously I see your backdrop, and this is a huge conversation, so I'm really happy that there's light being shed on this. You're heavy in the industry, so I'd love for you to kind of, explain to us, what exactly are we seeing here with this strike, and what are we hoping to come out of this?
I think with the strike, and I'm a member of the Writers Guild of America, and I'm also a Screen Actors Guild AFTRA member. There was 3 different entities that kind of went up, right? You had the Writers Guild, you had Screen Actors eventually joined them last week, and then we also had the Directors Guild. Only one guild has really settled in terms of the strike, and it's been the Directors Guild. And I think it's not lost on me that the Directors Guild is majority made up of white males. It is very difficult to get into the Directors Guild. So I automatically know that other white men who are holding money away from everyone else is going to make sure that they keep other white men making money. However, I have no idea how the Directors Guild is going to really move, because what they going to direct. But I won a Writers Guild Award this year, and I'm saying this for a reason. People think you get these accolades, you get into these things, and everything is set. They see you on television, they see you in a movie, they think you got millions of dollars. They don't understand that in entertainment business is a business, and that business is really the business itself got started for advertising, not for entertainment, for advertising. And it went from radio to movies, silent, all that. Now, in the grand scheme of things, using Monique as an example, if Monique is the reason why people are coming to the shows, if people are coming to see her and it's her name and it's her talent, she should get the lion's share of the money that is coming in. However, it is reversed in the business, where the people who put up the money, the big corporations, the CEOs and things like that, they're recouping not even just a majority of the money, like disproportionately the majority of the money, to the point where there are people who are on television who are living paycheck to paycheck, who have to apply for unemployment, who don't have money to make their mortgage. You know, so when people say that we're complaining about just getting more money and sucking the business dry, this is about people having to survive. And thankfully, this has happened. If it wasn't for streaming, I don't think this would have ever happened, because now you have big name stars who are also losing out on money, and that's what you need. Well, Monique was missing when she was protesting, what she needed, like she said to Steve Harvey, those guys to also join in so that effective change could happen. She did it on her own. So what we're saying is, now that the big A stars are like, also, where's they streaming money and they got a problem, now that hopefully will trickle down to the rest of the people who need money, because now everybody has stopped work.
Absolutely. Pierre, I'm going to bring you in as well. One, I love your reaction to seeing the clip of Monique, but also from your perspective as an independent artist, you know, from your perspective, how does things look? Because I know you were once a member of SAG. And also, do you think that artists should use this time to kind of tap into the route that you've taken here?
My sister Yamanika said a whole mouthful. I mean, perfectly said. Everything she said from both parts was absolutely correct. The problem is, you know, I'll just use this word lightly, but kind of, the billionaires are being greedy. Okay, they're being greedy. You know, the people who make so much money, the billionaires, the multi-millionaires are being greedy to the people who are trying to make a living. Everyone thinks that because you're in a movie, you're rich. And that's not the case. They see you on TV, they think you're rich. You know, all you can do, you ask for some more money. I see you on TV all the time. You'd be surprised what people make. Now, you might say, well, you know, someone might make, I'm just making it up. Let's say they make, you know, $20,000 an episode, but they have agents, lawyers, managers to pay, taxes to pay. So by the time it's all said and done, let's say they walk away with $6,000, but they may have a mortgage or a big house. Now, you can't be sitting in the house tomorrow. They should have a big ass house. Well, why not? You have a house, you have a nice car. Why can't they have something nice? You know, they're working for it and they're doing it. But now a lot of people don't like to see the rich people or people doing better than them complain. You know what I'm saying? But we all have levels of we can complain on. You know, if you have a BMW, I can say, well, look at you. You can talk about the guy with the little car. You know what I'm saying? We can always play that game. And I just think that, and now that, like she said, streaming's come by. People didn't know about streaming 10 years ago when contracts were argued over. Now things have changed. And the people who make so much money, the billionaires, they want all the money in streaming because it wasn't set in plan. It wasn't nothing set to say, hey, actors get money in streaming. Now the actors say, well, hold on, let me give some of this. If you're making all this money, let me have some of it. And now the rich people are making it, and they can starve the people out, unfortunately, but it's going to get ugly if they play that game. You know, if they say, well, we're going to not do this so-and-so. So I myself didn't want to play the Hollywood game. I say didn't want to play it. They weren't inviting me. It's harder than you think, you know, to get movie roles over and over. That's why you only see 20 black actors pretty much working all the time. The rest of them, I can name some people, like, yeah, I ain't heard of him in a long time. I've heard in a long time. They're still alive. You know what I'm saying? But they're not working. Well, I decided to use my penmanship and my knowledge of how to make movies and make my own stuff. So I decided to jump on this streaming situation and make my own movie. I got these 3 fantastic movies coming out called Slice 1, 2, and 3, which we'll talk about in the future. We're going to be on Tubi. But yeah, I decided to take my own podcast, my own dating PAs. I decided to make my own stuff. And so I went that route because I didn't want to be bullied by another place or have to wait for another situation to hire me. I'm a boss. Okay, I can rent myself out to you, but I'm never gonna work for you. I'm a boss. You know what I'm saying? I'll rent myself out to you, but I'll come right back and do my own thing. And that's why I became independent. And it's worked out for me so far. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, people aren't running to the theaters like they used to. Now everything is on that handheld device. Okay, the stream's all right there on your tablet or your phone. And if you can make something go there without having to deal with Hollywood, people gonna watch what they watch. They don't care where they watch that. If I see a good movie on my phone or my tablet, I'm gonna watch it when I'm on the bus or whatever the case may be. And now it's getting ugly, and the rich are trying to hold on to as much as they can. But I'm really down for the people who are striking, the actors and so forth, because I know how hard it is to maintain in Hollywood.
Let me ask you, Pierre, was there a specific moment for you that was like, hey, yeah, because of this, yeah, I'm gonna go this route? I know you said, just it's hard and it is difficult, but was there a specific moment for you?
Yeah, eviction. I did it for me. Eviction. You might ask about it. No, I'm just joking. I ain't get evicted.
Oh, look, I didn't know whether to laugh or.
I know, I felt bad. I was like, oh no.
No, hell no, I'm a boss. I ain't gonna get it. That's what I ain't gonna do is get evicted. No, I just knew I had another talent and I wasn't getting, I was getting close on roles, movie roles. Close don't work. Close is last, okay? If they don't pick you, there can be 100 people come in there. If you're the second choice, you're the 99th choice. It's the same choice. You ain't getting picked. So I saw myself getting close, but not getting it, getting roles. I was like, you know what? I don't want to have a day job. I'm not built for the, I tell you, I'll put me in a cubicle for you and put me in a casket for you, put me in a cubicle. I can't work a 9 to 5. So I decided to take my talents and I did, as John would say, I pivot. I pivot. I said, okay, because I wasn't working as much. I wasn't getting the roles. I was getting close, but I wasn't getting the roles.
Yeah. Yamaneika, let me ask you this. Is there any responsibility that, the audience should take? I see, as you mentioned, the writers, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time in 50 years that simultaneously we're seeing 2 organizations go on strike together. So is there any responsibility on the audience, as we're pushing forward in this strike? Is there any responsibility, or is there anything that we can do to help with this?
Support everything Black. Yeah. How about that?
I mean, yeah, absolutely support everything Black, but yeah, it's the first time. Again, it speaks in numbers. So the Writers Guild has gone on strike. I think the 2007 maybe. Then there was a 1997.
Yeah,
so this writer's strike. But when you have these 2 come together, it really helps. I think what people need to understand is, in terms of what the audience needs to know is with the streaming. And again, like I said, it started beforehand because, when we look at reality television stars and like, oh, they balling, they shot calling, they're not protected underneath SAG, right? So they're not getting, in terms of, they're not getting residuals on when they air. So you can watch Love and Hip Hop or whatever 1,000 times. There's no check. They get no one check to film one time and then they're on. Then there was another loophole that they used to do is if you went on and played yourself, they didn't have to pay you in the residuals, right? So there's a couple of shows I've been on where I actually played myself and didn't get paid for it. Residuals are how people really live. That's where your savings comes from. You can get paid to do an appearance on a show. You get $1,500 to do an episode of something. Once the advertising gets involved in that episode and the money starts to trickle in, that episode could generate maybe $300,000 or $400,000, maybe $1 million worth of revenue from that episode. How does it trickle down? If the people that are in front of the camera doing the work and the people behind the scenes who are writing and doing the work or the production, they're not getting paid with some guy who just happened to be the president of Colgate. We've had so many dismantlings. I've lost so many deals, and I hate to get on my own soapbox here. I've lost so many deals because at the precipice of my fucking deal, the network changed the vice president and president. And not change, I had a humongous fucking deal that was already ready to go. And then one conglomeration bought out another one, right? And then the person that replaced the president that had approved me, he wasn't even the fucking president of anything in terms of entertainment. He was some marketing guy from it's like this entertainment is not being run by the entertainers who know what to give you, the creativity. It is being run by people who don't even watch TV, PS, won't even let their fucking kids watch television.
Ooh-wee.
Okay?
Yeah.
So let's be very real. If you want to be entertained, have respect for the people that entertain. And there's a lack of respect across the board for people who entertain. Like we're just some fucking Muppet that's supposed to give you whatever. We're here to give you laughs and yucks. It's reciprocal. We give you respect, give us respect. Join us in that, or you ain't gonna have shit to watch. You're
Well,
not.
right. Hip hop artists have complained about that for a long time. When executives run hip hop and they have no idea what hip hop, damn near what hip hop is. Some German dude over there in Sweden or whatever the hell he is, and he's running a hip hop. You know what I'm saying? He's running a section of Warner Brothers that has hip hop, and he don't know what it is. So you're right. We should have more people who feel it. To run entertainment, not just some guy wears a suit and tie. So I agree with you because they don't care. They're not emotionally invested in it
at all.
And because they are distant from it, this is why we have the things when we say, why is our music so violent? Why are the things that we see us playing these very stereotypical tropes? It's because they don't care about our community and what advances it. They just want what they know that we're going to go watch and sell. That's what they're going to sell, even if it's us killing each other.
Real quick. I remember filming How to Be a Player. And it's a scene, the party scene where Bernie Mac is at the end. We're running around at a party on How to Be a Player for those who remember the movie. I remember the director was sitting there putting a shot up, and some little white executive came up and said, put some more like scantily clad, black, not black women, but there were black women there. Put some more women with their asses out, more to the camera. He told him to put more around it. I was like, I'm sitting there watching like, wow. He's some white dude, just, one of the executives there, told the director to put some big asses and more, scantily dressed women in front of the camera, in front of like Bill Bellamy's walking through the crowd. And I was just like, wow, dude. You know what I'm saying? You don't give a you just want to see some black butt, big butt, scantily dressed sisters out there.
Yeah. They think they know us better than we know us, which is crazy to me. Yamaneika, I want to close out with this because this does make me think about, I remember when there was a strike during, Girlfriends, and then Girlfriends never came back after the strike. And obviously, there has to be some real fear or just, concern about what's going to happen if these executives don't step to the plate. So I want to ask you in this candid moment, is there any real fear for you, as this continues to play out for your career?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I'm a writer and an actress. So I'm not doing that. We're back to 100%. Letting stand up hold us down. I mean, there are, who knows when the money's going to dry out, right? Thankfully, I have projects that I still get paid on, but even those, like, I just got a check the other day for like 37 cents. This is what we're talking about. Like, how it trickles down to the people who really, put their talent into it. But you know what? At the end of the day, God got us, right? So we can't keep complaining. I mean, I don't mean to say it like that about complaining, but it's like God got us. And I spent a lot of my youth worrying about where I was going to be, how I was going to make it, and I made it here. So I just say that, I just continue to ask God to look over this situation. Thankfully, I have stand-up that I can also fall back on, which is the great thing about being a stand-up comedian. And, if you hate to say it, but a lot of white people have Fran Drescher just made a big announcement, big speech. Once the white people start getting rattled with it, now everybody want to pay attention. It's the thing that we always need. We need white people to be allies and also feel the heat of stuff so that we can have some advancements. So we'll see. They're not going to let Arnold Schwarzenegger go hungry. They're not going to let, Tom Cruise go hungry. So at some point when Tom Cruise get to put a little something on his fork, and he's supposed to be putting something on his fork, so we could I'm going to be right at Tom Cruise's fork going, hey, Tom. And he's short enough too. I'm 5'4" and a half, and he's probably 5'4" and a half. And we going to be doing this scene out of with the little doggies with the lady spaghetti. We gonna be eating the same noodle, Tom.
Yeah, and I always think it's crazy too to send a 37-cent check. I feel like it costs more to send it than it.
It costs more for the paper, the stamp, everything. You done spent $10 to send me 25 cents.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, I think we'll continue to see this play out. Obviously, on this platform, we'll make sure to continue to bring light to it as well. But we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna be joined by Joya for You Be the Judge. She's gonna give us some updates on the Carlee Russell's case. We'll be right back right after this.
Hey Hypers, it's Joya, your Justice Bay, and we are still tracking this case of Carlee Russell, the missing Alabama woman who actually called 911 when she said she spotted a toddler walking down the interstate last week. Now, regardless of if you've been tracking this case or not, this case has been everywhere. I'm personally invested in this case for so many reasons. I'm a Black woman. This is my sorority sister. I am a mandated court reporter with court appointed special advocates. So it's been a lot of things that have drawn people to this case. But in the latest updates of this case, the Hoover Police Department has released a statement which says the Hoover Police Department has not located any evidence of a toddler walking down the interstate, nor did we receive any additional calls about a toddler walking down the interstate from anyone else, despite numerous vehicles passing in that area depicted by the traffic camera and surveillance on that night. Now, so many people are talking about this case. It's polarizing, it's frustrating, because time we got attention for a Black woman that is missing, it seems to be some speculation. And I just have some questions for Yamaneika and also Pierre. I know we covered this on an earlier episode, but we want to go a little deeper when it comes to the releasing of There Will Be No Toddler. There's also a press conference that will be happening. It probably will already happen by the time this episode drops at 2:30, and the Hoover Police Department are going to release even more details about the incident. But my first question to you all is, has this case, and I know we talked about it a little bit on the other episode, put a stain on missing Black women and the press's involvement and coverage of their cases?
It didn't help.
Right.
It didn't help, you know, and I look, I'm all for protect Black women, but I'm also for let's not just let anything roll and just say we got to protect Black women over anything if something as silly as this. Like I said, I think she has a mental health issue. Yeah. I called BS yesterday. I'm gonna call BS again. I'm not just gonna say just because she's Black, she's right, or it's probably, you know, it's ridiculous, you know. So I stand the same as I stood yesterday. I don't know what Sister Yamaneika feel about it, but I think it's too many obstacles, too many things don't make sense, way overboard. It don't make sensible stuff. So, and it could have been a white woman, Chinese woman, I don't care what color it is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I definitely believe that it has altered the way people look at this case. I actually believe this would be a textbook referral to a case. So we talked about Jussie Smollett yesterday and all of the situations surrounding his case, the discrepancies, but I believe the Carlee Russell case will once again be a case that people point back to and say, see, we should have waited 24 to 72 hours, or see, we should not cover Black women that are missing. Yamaneika, what are you thinking?
You know, I love you. The things you just said was so ridiculous.
I know that's right. Right, yeah.
Because people will say that, but
people will say it.
Right, but that's so ridiculous, right? That you would say, see, this is why we don't live for Black women, because of one Black woman, all these Black women who are missing, all these Black women who are not getting any, like domestic abuse is up for us, violence is up for us, all these things. And this is why I got quiet on it, because we love whenever it's a Black woman or Black, right, when Jussie was Black, something had to be. You know how many white women, there's at least 3 cases I just watched, because you know I'm watching these crime shows, where they fake their kidnapping, right? You think they say, oh, we got to stop looking for white women because this, no. They take them on the overall, right? So I'm not saying anything because I think that we should be looking for Black women. And if you're going to allow this case to be a deterrent to looking for Black women in the future, then there's no conversation I can have with you. It's just crazy. Now, is this girl, did she lie? I don't know.
We don't know.
Probably so. If she lied, she had a mental disorder, all kinds of things are happening with her. It does not change the fact that we don't give enough attention to Black women who are missing. So at the very least, I would implore Black women who this directly affects to not get in the mix of this conversation where you are trying to debate whether your life is worthy or not to be searched for. Be very careful.
Yeah,
Right,
and
right.
that is why I raised this situation, because oftentimes when you talk about the press and how Black and brown people are depicted, they look for reasons not to cover the case. So I'm glad that you uplifted that, because there are several people that are still missing. Phoenix Caldron from St. Louis that are missing, and there are people that need that type of assistance. Families still waiting for their missing loved ones. So I'm glad that we uplifted it, and I'm also glad that we have a platform like this where we can talk about it in our own space and we don't have to wait for other people to talk about it. Now, I do have a question. I believe you guys covered it, but if you're not, I do want to dig into our families entitled to privacy after they have publicly asked for help. That's something that's been buzzing on the internet. Why should they have privacy when they publicly ask for help and people use their resources to look for Carly?
No, I agree. I'm ready to make it juicy. That's what I do here.
Make it juicy.
Yeah, of course. I've never heard of the Gilgo murders. Never heard of it at all. Most people have never heard of the Gilgo murders. What were them women? Were they white women? I never even heard about them. No research, no search, no nothing, nation, no nothing. And let that go. Let all them, 10 white women got killed? And it was over 13 years we ain't heard nothing about them. With no searching for them. I heard of anything about it. I watch the news. Everything. I'm online all the time. So I don't know why they let them white women just die and get killed, not really make a big deal of it like they should have. But again, I get what you're saying. I get it. My thing is this. Anybody going missing, we should go look for them. I don't give a damn, they white, red, green, whatever. Yeah, let's be real. When we start, I get it. We're home. We're Black people. We want to make sure ours is taken care of first. I have no problem with that. I get that. But when people make excuses of saying, well, she could have probably been kidnapped, she could have, then it doesn't add to like believability and stuff. You know, I believe if we say, all right, this sister right here might be a little nutty. She might be what do you call it? Mental health. I'll say
mental health issues. Yeah.
Mental health. She has that. If we say that more, then it adds validity to let's go find the other ones who maybe aren't out there really get kidnapped. But when we say that's real, it makes it look, it just doesn't feel right. It's like, really? It just doesn't feel right to me. So, but back to the question, I'm sorry. The question
privacy.
About the family and privacy. Yeah. Well, when you make it public, and I ain't mad at them for making it public. I guess they were looking for it at the time when she was missing. You damn right to make it public. But you got to be very careful when you say, I'm going to put it out there, but then once we find her, please leave us alone. Don't bring it, don't talk about it no more. I understand because they're emotionally attached to the situation. We're not as much as they are, of course. You know, not our child. But it's a slippery slope. Once you put it out in public, and then you ask for money too, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, where's that money go? What's that money? I mean, they found her. What happens to that money? Do you keep the money? Like, what's this about? You know, the GoFundMe page.
I know that they said, I know that the family said that they didn't authorize any GoFundMe pages. I don't know of any, but I do know that they released a statement because they had been in calls to release the money that no GoFundMe was released in their name.
And look, and I'll say, at the end of the day, I'm happy she's found. Regardless, she's found. We get her fixed now. We can get, if it's mental illness, which I believe, let's get her fixed. I'm happy she's not dead. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I'm happy that sister's not dead. So let's move past it. I wish we could move on and let her get herself together and then, you know, move on. We can work. There's so many other things happening. There are missing women, Black women out there now that we can be looking for now.
Right. This was a big case though. Yamanika, what do you feel about the privacy issue?
I'll tell you what because you know how the comments get.
Right, because people are all over the place with this case.
The second that I found out that they found her, I said, that don't sound right, because especially where I live in Harlem, there's a big thing with girls being abducted, sex trafficking. They go into places where there are a lot of Black, and I know people hate hearing Black and brown, but it's what the truth. They go after Black and brown, not even just girls, boys too, and get them into all kinds of things that we don't see these children again, or young adults. But when they said they found her, I was like, let's find out what, you know, like, when you ever heard somebody been re-released from sex trafficking? But at the same time, we have to remember there was a scandal going around where people were using children as decoys. That's why I'm saying, like, here's the problem with my people, my beautiful Black people that I love being a part of, including Black men. is when white
Me
people
too.
go through some shenanigans and something didn't work out, they all start whistling Dixie. They don't pay no attention to it. They don't even address it. They move forward. Black people, for whatever reason, we always feel like we have to cross our T's and dot our I's.
Mm.
Now we got to go talk to the mama in Chicago that had her son killed a guy. No GoFundMe for her because she don't deserve it. No GoFundMe for this fam. You don't know what they need to GoFundMe for. We always pocket watching Black people. We always putting this diplomacy that Black people are supposed to have. If that was a white family, they still had that money. People would mind their fucking business. We think Black people owe us. You owe us. If the girl really was missing and our family really was going through some shit, I have no problem letting them take the time
The
that they need
privacy,
to take
yeah.
to figure out what the is happening. They don't owe me an answer right away. And I posted about the girl several times.
Right,
People
right.
who need to know so bad need to ask themselves, why can't you give grace no matter what? Give grace. Who needs to fucking know?
Give grace. And that's something that I also, as we wrap up, thank you so much, Yamanika and Pierre, for your feedback as we continue to track this case. As let's not rush so quick to criticize the family and also her, but this segment is called You Be the Judge. So in the comments, we definitely want to hear from you, and we talk back sometimes in the comments as well. So thank you so much for your feedback on this case as we continue to track. It's Joya for Comedy Hype.
Thank you, Joya. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, this is a tricky case for sure, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to end here. So we'll continue to get these updates and maybe tap back in with you, Joya, to see what's happening. Now, before we head out, of course, I'd like to know what you all have going on. Joya, before you head out, I'm going to start with you so we can go ahead and let you go. What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people keep up with you?
Sure. So for me, I am working really hard with lawmakers to challenge this current law in Georgia for intellectual disabilities and executing folks. So right now, Georgia has one of the highest burdens of proof for people to prove that they have intellectual disabilities. And according to the Supreme Court, with the Atkins decision, you cannot execute people with disabilities. So I'm working with folks to kind of push Georgia to make sure they're doing all they can to not execute people with intellectual disabilities. But you can also find me at Justice Bay on Instagram.
We appreciate you and thank you for all that you're doing for us and the real work that you're doing. You're not just, talking about it, you're actually being about it. So thank you for all the work that you're doing, Joya. Pierre, I'm coming over to you. What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
Them iron pills was working, boy.
It was a transfusion, baby.
I love it. All right, I'll just say I'll get off this. Okay, I'll Comic Pierre. I'm actually you see me in Vegas, 29th with the fights. I'll be hanging around with my camera, doing interviews. And hopefully next week I'll be here for 3 days. I'll be on Comedy Hype News again. Enjoy. Shout out to 85 South. I just did their show last night, so it should air out. That was pretty fun. And we're gonna keep doing it here on Comedy Hype.
Absolutely. A big shout out to everybody that's tuning in and giving us the love in the comments. I can't go anywhere. Yamanika, again, I am loving the backdrop. It always resonates with what we're talking about, especially this right here that deserves the attention. So what do you have coming up, Yamanika? And of course, how can people keep up with you?
Well, you can keep up with me at Yamanika, everything at Yamanika. I appreciate our segment, You Be the Judge, but I want you niggas to remember, you ain't the judge. Okay. And thank God for it, because half of us will be in the world. And thank God I'm not the judge, because I don't know if I can have that responsibility, to be honest with you. I make mistakes all the time. I'm glad I was able to come in here today. People, get on top of your health. I just want to say this. I know I didn't say it. I'm gonna say it. Found out I was severely anemic. You guys have to get on top of your health. You have to go to the hospital if you feel down. I think as Black people, sometimes we feel like we're not, we make it through. We stick through it. We tough. We're not gonna go get your blood work done. Find out what's going on. I'm blessed that I was able to have one of 5 iron transfusions that I'm going to have in the next week and a half. And it's definitely exhausting. Even though it's supposed to make you feel better, I think I'm so severely anemic that it's just made me very, very tired. So I'm glad I was able to come here. Thank Pierre for being gentle with me today, You see how he little pussycat, because he had something else he wanted to say, but he was like, nah, and I appreciate you and I love you, Pierre. Thank you for that. Because I don't know if I could fight you today. But I was thinking about you when Joya was talking about the proving whether you're mentally inept. And I was saying maybe she could use you as an example. But I love you, Pierre. Thank you for letting me know. But thank you guys so much. Joya, Symphony, also John, and everybody behind the scenes. Thanks for letting me be here this week.
Absolutely. And we definitely send our well wishes to you, Yamanika. And again, thank you all for chiming in on this topic. A lot of crazy things going on in the news, but it always feels good to be here with the family and be able to close out the week on, with just love and understanding and different opinions and all that. So thank you, Joya. Thank you, Yamanika. Thank you, Pierre. I appreciate you all. But you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. And sometimes we will be in the comments with you. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. Oh, wait, before we go, so we don't get another email, so I don't get another DM or another comment. I was joking about the electric slide, okay? Stop coming for me in the emails and in the comments and the DM. God dang it, I'm sorry. But I love y'all.
It's Comedy Hype.
It's coming. A little jokey joke.
Ain't no apologizing. Shit. You said what you said.
Do you know the comedy culture? Play Comedy Hype, the game. Out now.